how do you, as a person that has gone through this, that's helping others virtually and so on and so forth, how impactful do you feel self-doubt is?
Oh, it's massive, absolutely massive. As soon as self doubt takes hold, it can be the breaking point of a business. And I think that's where that strong network comes in, because if you are starting to doubt yourself, you've got, I'm lucky in that I've got previous clients that I can reflect on the work that I've done for them and say, do you know what? Yeah, I did that. And they've written me some great testimonials. They really appreciated what I did. They saw the value in it. They saw the expertise in it. I can do it. I can do it. I've done it before. I can do it again. Um, and we all have a wobble. Even after 3 years of being in business, I still have a wobble and think, oh, am I the right person to be offering this service? Or I see it on Facebook, someone needs certain services, and I think, oh, I could do that, but should I really apply? There's so many other people saying that they can do it too. But you just kind of have to put yourself out there and kind of fight through it, because at the end of the day, I've got now 20 years experience doing this. Like, I know I can do this stuff, and it is just an emotional wobble, and it takes sometimes my husband to give me a kick up the bum and say, don't be ridiculous, you've been doing it for years, of course you can do it. And a perfect example of that came up this week. Actually, there was an opportunity to apply to be on the advisory board of the Professional Association for VAs. And I just thought, oh, have I been doing it long enough, to apply for it? Should I apply for it? Yeah, it's a really big job, and I'd be really responsible for, overseeing things and supporting other people. Is it really for me? And my husband said, of course it is. You've been doing it for years in managerial roles, and you've been running your VA business now for 3 years. Like, just apply. What's the worst that can happen? They say no, and you carry on doing what you're doing, mate. It's not going to affect you, so just give it a go. And I think that's the way to look at it. Is if you go for something and someone says no, what's the worst that's going to happen? Your whole world's not going to fall down around you, is it? You just carry on. You pick yourself up and you carry on. And I think to kind of approach every situation with that mindset of what's the worst that can happen will just put you in positions that you probably never would have thought you'd be in, but the opportunities are huge.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if once you, and I always tell people this, once you do something, and if it fails, and if you don't get it, the worst that happens is you're in the same situation you would have been if you didn't apply,
Yeah.
right? But imagine if you were to take that step, that leap, and you're successful. The possibilities is endless.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to someone else a couple of days ago regarding another interview, and I told them the fear of failure sometimes is so much more stronger than actually failing, because you have, what is my husband going to think? What is my wife going to think? What is my friends going to think? What is my inner circle going to think, right? And then you create the situation in your head that is so much bigger than it actually is, but it should just be, you know what? Let me try this. Because no one else really cares if you really think about it,
Yeah.
right? They don't really care, right? But in our minds as humans, we think everyone does care, right?
Yeah.
We think that, you know what, the 70-year-old down the street is watching us. We think, the 5-year-old with the toys in the neighborhood is watching us. But in reality, no one's really watching. And unless we tell them, no one is even really paying attention. So we should just take the risk. And
Yeah.
you know what? If it doesn't work out, we pick ourselves up, dust off our shoulders, and we try again, but we know we've learned something. Have you ever
Yeah.
experienced one of those moments where you're like, this didn't go according to plan, but you know what? Next time, I'm going to do better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been lucky in a way in that I haven't had to do a huge amount of networking to get the business to where it is. I've had a lot of it through referrals and people approaching me. And so it was only really in the last 6 months I've started doing the whole networking thing. And the first networking event that I went to was online. And the minute they said my name, that I was going to be presenting myself next, I had a massive panic attack and I logged off, because I felt so overwhelmed and so underprepared, and I just thought, oh, I can't do this, and I logged off. And so I went to my husband and I said, I freaked out, I panicked, I don't know what to do. And he said, just try again. It's not a big deal. Nobody knows why you logged off. Nobody knew who you were. It's not a problem. You try again. So I booked into the next event, and I did the next event, sailed through it absolutely fine. And the same with podcast interviews as well. I've only started really doing them in the last 3 or 4 months, and the first couple I was really shaky, I was really nervous, and I just thought, oh, is this for me? How's it going to benefit me? Is it, are people going to think I'm a complete idiot? And I just thought, so what if they do? The ones that are meant to be in my life will be in my life, and the ones that aren't won't. And that's all that really matters. So yeah, you just got to keep putting yourself out there, and that little bit of fear is good. I think, to push through that little bit of fear it gives you a lot more satisfaction at the end of it.
Especially when you conquer it, right? Like when you're like, I beat it, it makes you feel so good. And you've had this strong support system. And I think that is also important because you have your spouse cheering you on, right? You want that group of people at the end of the finish line saying that, you know what, you got this, keep going, keep pushing through. It's like a race. I don't know if you ever watched like the Olympics or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Where you have your whole team cheering, jumping up and down, they're screaming your name, and you feel that you're running on empty, but because of their enthusiasm, their energy, it propels you further. How
Yeah.
important to you is your support system?
Oh, it's absolutely essential. Absolutely. Um, I mean, my husband is my biggest cheerleader, and he has visions for my business so much bigger than I'd ever have. Like he sees us traveling internationally to massive speaking events, and I'm like, no, I'm all right, actually. I'm all right keeping it a little bit lower scale than that. So I kind of have to be the one to keep him grounded. But knowing that he sees that potential in me and in my ideas and in my business just gives me the confidence to keep pushing. And my kids, they don't know what's going on. They're only 3 and 2 years old. So, but knowing that my purpose is to do it for them, that in itself is enough to get me up every morning and keep pushing me out of my comfort zone, because I want to make it a success for them.